The gunfight. We are digging deeper into the most dangerous age group in the country when it comes to gun homicides. It is young people ages 18 to 34.
Department of Justice stats show that for every 100,000 people in 2010, homicide rates were 10.7 for people ages 18 to 24 and 8.1 for people 25 to 34. Those rates are less than half of that for 35 to 49-year-olds. And just 1.4 for people over the age of 50.
Tonight, Mike Dunstan investigates the young people behind the violence.
It's really sad that it's so easy to remember the names and faces of young people who've become the victims and suspects of recent gun violence here in Metro Atlanta. Remember this: in Gwinnett County, a gas station becomes the Wild West with young men pulling out guns and unloading bullets. And remember this shooting at Bay Creek Park where police arrested this 19-year-old. This 22-year-old is accused of shooting 10 people at a club in Meriwether County over a gambling dispute. College football player Wally Clanton was shot to death at a pool party in Fayette County over the summer. And in DeKalb County, Shanika McCurdy.
She was taken out for no reason whatsoever other than just wanting to go in, get a lottery ticket, come out and mind her business.
And this gas station surveillance video shows her moments before three teens allegedly tried to steal her car, shooting and killing the 25-year-old barber.
What is in the mindset right now of our youth that they feel like guns are the first thing that they need to have as a line of defense or just to have on them at all?
The conversation at this IBX internet radio show in Norcross: disregard for human life and gun violence in Metro Atlanta. The killing of Shanika McCurdy upset Omar Howard so much he stood outside the scene of the crime holding this sign. Today he's a radio guest and a chaplain with Atlanta's Transitional Center. It's a minimum security prison on Ponce in Midtown Atlanta. More than 250 inmates live here.
The first thing that people talk about is I'm through fighting. Right. I'm going to get a gun.
But don't let the button-down shirt fool you.
It's just part of the street life. When I told you when I went to prison.
You heard him right. He used to be an inmate too. And he can talk the talk because he's walked the walk in prison. Locked up for 15 years in a 5-foot by 10-foot cell. You haven't been back in 20 years.
Well, I really didn't want to revisit those memories.
Omar took me back to the Lithonia neighborhood that landed him in the big house.
Because going up that hill was the worst decision I made.
Up this hill and in this apartment complex, his and other lives changed in an instant. You parked back here?
We parked back here, and we was trying to look for a house to break in, not knowing, that somebody was going to die that night, but, we was just trying to get money. We just wanted some money.
He says just like today, 20 years ago, guns were easy for him to get. But here's what's changed.
A lot of these kids just are fearless compared to us. When you even talk with a lot of kids about prison, they're not even afraid of it.
So I went to Kennesaw to ask young adults about Omar's theory.
Maybe our generation is a little more desensitized, but at the same time you have to be kind of desensitized because you see stuff like that all the time.
They see it on the video games, so of course they don't think anything of it, but when someone actually becomes a witness to gun violence or something like that, it might harm them. Might harm them mentally.
I had a friend that was murdered last fall.
And that wasn't the only friend Devontae Hughley lost to gun violence. The Kennesaw State University student had to send condolences to the families of 2 other friends. He thinks young people need to hear more about the consequences.
Tell the story when you see the police pulling up in your yard and they're taking you out in handcuffs and you're getting in the backseat of their car.
But in the beginning, Mike, they don't care. I mean, a gun is a gun to them. A gun is for protection. A gun is what my friends have.
We met LaTanya Askew at the internet radio station, too. She's a Metro Atlanta attorney and says her young clients don't believe the seriousness of gun violence until they hear the charges or they see the financial bind their parents are put in, coming up with money for bond or to pay a lawyer. She doesn't see the violence slowing down until parents step up to the plate.
You were grown enough to make these children. Now you need to get involved in these children's lives. Checking their room, finding out what's going on in school, not blaming the teachers when students are cutting up in class.
I hated prison. I hated prison. We're heading to where I actually got locked up.
Omar Howard took us back to the intersection of Marbut Road and Panola Road in Lithonia.
That was a terrible day for me.
Where cops caught up with he and his crew in February of 1993.
That's the last day I seen of freedom for 15 years. What happened in 1993 still affects me today, and it's 2015. As far as getting jobs, down to the point of trying to find a place to live.
I just want to help young people to, make better choices.
How many of y'all love being free? How many of y'all love being free?
And these days, he's looking to the future.
Because from 15 to 18, man, I was in and out of juvenile because I didn't want to do what was right.
Speaking to these students and mentoring adults who've been in his situation, for him, it's about giving back.
I want to, make sure that I can do what I can, whatever I can, to make a difference.
And working as a chaplain here at the Atlanta Transitional Center, Omar Howard is grateful for the grace and the redemption that's been given to him. In Midtown Atlanta, Mike Dunstan, CBS 46 News.
Omar Howard started a nonprofit organization. It's called Freedom is Choice.
It's a mentoring program designed to make positive differences in the lives of troubled and at-risk young people.